just need to show you this female cardinal here hopping around in the backyard. I see so many animals in my yard, and like the other day out my side window there are 2 baby bunnies like just going crazy out in the side yard with squirrels running around. It's like, is Snow White somewhere out there? But if I were to go out there, you know they'd run away immediately. And of course, if Speckles and Penny are with me, apex predators they are, then they wouldn't be there too long. Anyway, just picking up some bugs. So I came out to do a short little video tonight. It's been a couple of weeks since I've posted anything. And really, number one, I've just been distracted, and number two, it's been raining like crazy. So one of the things we're gonna do tonight is dump out some water that's, if it hasn't already ruined plants, it may start to ruin them. And then I'm going to burn some wood to get rid of it, and repurpose my fire pit at a later date by turning it into a fountain, because it's kind of like breaking down and I want to get a new fire pit. We've had this one for several years now. Anyway, I'll show you around so you can see the condition of the garden. First off, we've got a ton of weeds growing in these little pots right here. At least I think they're weeds. We'll find out at some point. We'll see what they do. And then of course I have these herbs here, and this does not have a hole punched into it for the water to drain out, so you end up with this. One of the reasons a hole is not punched in it is because it's a Dollar Tree plant holder, and they crack really easily if you try to drill or poke a hole in them. But we're gonna have to do something, so I'll probably like just try to take a cup and scoop some water out. That'll take forever. Yeah, or I may just lean it over the side and dump it, we'll see. In addition to that, it's mosquito haven back here where any spots water is collecting. And it's the Cardinals against the Blue Jays. What will happen? And they ran away from each other. Well, good game, guys. Good game. Over and take a look at the garden on the side over here. Cucumber is coming right along. It's growing well. I had 2 cabbage plants and they have vanished, potentially because of this one right here trampling them, or they were eaten by something. Probably one of those crazy bunnies in the backyard. Okay, so what we've got to do over here is dump out some of this water before the plants get root rot. Already the leaves are turning kind of yellow on some of them, so that's not super healthy. So we're going to get rid of some of this water. And we really need to get them planted, but if anything, get rid of the water. I'm going to dump this water over and put this bucket up. Once again, it's like mosquito haven over here. Here are tomato plants we planted the other day. They're coming right along. Very proud of them. This little guy looks like he got broken maybe in the storm. I don't know. I do have some tomato cages I probably need to put over them pretty soon, but I won't do that today. Going crazy, so that's exciting. It's got some little friends shooting up, family actually. Smells so good. Left little tufts of clover in the yard to attract the pollinators. Get rid of some of this water. plant and got to get those suckers in the ground if they'll live. Look at these purple, like root looking, stem looking parts. I'm gonna have to look that up and see what that is. I don't think it's a good thing, but it probably means something. I know yellow leaves mean, hey, too much water. Maybe they're just like drowning and that's why they're purple. Could be like root rot. So I'm back in the garage. I want to take a little detour now and update you on the spider traps. So we've caught a few things. Let me show you this one with lots of good stuff. There's not a brown recluse on this one. This is just like random bugs and a random spider. The other one caught 3 brown recluses and a surprise creature. So the other day I was in the house, it was like morning, Will was still asleep, and I'm in the kitchen making breakfast or something, and I hear this rustling out in the garage, and I'm like, is somebody in stealing our toilet paper? Like, what's going on? So I go get a baseball bat and I listen a little bit more. I keep hearing rustle, 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 and I get the guts to open the door, and I see this flash of brown running across the floor with a glue trap attached to it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's a rat. So gross. The reason I thought that at first was because Conway has had a rat problem recently in certain parts of the town, but after I got a closer look at it, it was actually a baby bunny, and I felt really bad for the little guy. Wish I would have grabbed my camera to show you, but he had the glue trap hung to his foot. I guess he ran in the garage when I was mowing one day and got stuck in here. Anyway, I managed to get a towel and hold him down and pull the glue trap off, and then I opened the garage door and left it open the rest of the day. So, gross, but it's covered in bunny fur and caught lots of debris and gross stuff. Sure you wanted to see that. Pretty disgusting. I'll have to put another glue trap over there to catch some more. And eventually we've got to clean this garage. It's like a huge issue for me. Part of that means taking stuff to Goodwill, and I'm just so unsure about doing that during this pandemic. I don't want to take objects or take illness to somebody. I'm not sick as far as I know, but it's hard to know, and I may end up going ahead and taking it. I'm just still working through that. So, but at some point we're gonna clean out this garage. So here's the fire pit. At some point we're going to clean it out, sand it, paint it, and turn it into a fountain. I have this little floating solar powered pump, so if I fill it with water, maybe I'll put like a liner in it and then put rock and fill it with water, and then put this solar powered floating pump I have that'll spray water out. We'll see how it looks. If we like it, great. If we don't, we'll figure out something else to do with it until we can replace this with a different fire pit. So that pile of wood over there is what I'm going to use to burn. I have a bunch that have fallen over in our side yard from a storm, so I'll be bringing some of that over and burning that for later in the year. But I think that's what we're going to do today, just burn some stuff. That's what you do when it's wet, right? We dump the water. Our other plants should be okay a little longer until we can get them taken care of. But anyway, let's get some fire going. So, question, can I successfully start a fire? Well, I don't know. It may be too wet and it may not work. A great starting point is paper junk mail. Wad it up into a ball, and that'll give you a good start. Then you want to throw on some kindling type sticks along with your heavier pieces of wood, hoping the kindling will catch. Some people just do the kindling first. Some people, everybody has their way of building a fire, but the point is, does it catch and does it start burning? a bunch of sticks here. We're gonna break them down, make them the size we need. Don't want any sticking over. Oh, and by the way, I'm wearing my Smokey the Bear shirt today. Love Smokey the Bear ever since I was a little girl. Always practice fire safety. That's why it's good to burn after it's been nice and wet and it hasn't been too dry. You don't want to burn stuff in a drought. Exactly the perfect night for a fire because it's like 80 degrees. Well, not right now, but today it was like 80 degrees. But like I said, I've got a ton of limbs and smaller sticks like this over in the side yard that I really need to carry over and make room for. So that's what we're doing right now. When your wood is really dry. So I'll just turn this way. You can see I try to keep mine up off the ground, so even if it gets rained on and it gets good and seasoned, it catches really fast. I'm gonna back up a little bit. So the more tiny stuff you put on there, the fire can get pretty hot. So once you really get it going, you can put some of your bigger stuff on there and then add more tiny sticks as the night goes on. You also want to be careful the type of stuff you burn. I have a co-worker who they were burning brush on her property, and it had some poison ivy in it, and she actually had like an allergic reaction in her lungs because she inhaled smoke from the poison ivy. So yeah, crazy stuff. Be super careful. But I just love having a fire. It's fun to watch. The actual fire will burn pretty quick, like the sticks and everything, especially since they're small. But the coals underneath will stay smoldering and could potentially ignite anything long after that. So I'll be keeping an eye on this throughout the evening, make sure it's completely out before I go to bed. We've got a pot of brown beans in the Instant Pot, and we're gonna have salad, chef salad tonight, so that'll be yummy. That bigger log to burn up, try to work on that and get the rest of the sticks over there. I'll save that nice looking chopped wood for later in the fall, but I'll use the other sticks I gather to put up. And I forgot about this little fencing I have right here. I may use that around my garden to try to keep speckles out of it. If she's the one doing it, it could be those bunnies that ate that cabbage. It could have been caterpillars, like who knows what kind of bugs. Like they can come and strip a plant down to its stems overnight. So anyway, we didn't do a whole lot today. We'll get back with it. We'll get going. Lots of projects I still want to work on. So I'm gonna watch this fire. I almost forgot the red stems on the sunflowers. So I did a little Google search, why are my plant stems red or purple? I actually found a site for growing cannabis that explained that it was like for a cannabis plant, genetics, or it could be a deficiency of nutrients, blah, 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 all kinds of stuff out there. Then I actually looked up sunflowers, and there's all kinds of explanations, but out of all of them, it basically said it's not a huge deal. So I'm just not going to worry about it and plant them in the ground with the rest of their fellow sunflower plants as soon as I can. I laid my fire poker down somewhere and it's gone. I just had it in my hand. Don't you hate when that happens? I don't know where it could be. Like, where else would I have put it? Like, I do strange things. Like when you're distracted, when you're a distracted person, you do strange things. Like, it's possible that I carried it in the house or something ridiculous like that. Ah, hidden. Not really, but kind of. So now we got the coals going. We got to get this guy really burning here. Be super careful. Smokey would not be happy with me if I flicked a burning coal onto something that's dangerous. Okay. we'll keep watching the fire burn. I'm wondering, what are some of your favorite campfire stories that you've ever told? I love fall. It's probably my favorite season because we have a lot of campfires, normally have people around them. We'll see if that happens this fall, but if not, we might have to do a virtual campfire. Anyway, I have all these books. I bought some at a used bookstore not too long ago. Scary stories to tell in the dark. They're things I had when I was a kid. So lots of spooky stories out there. Oh, the cardinal's back. And Pan writes, "Some predator you are. Just laying there. She's got her eye on it though." There it is. Back to campfire stories. So, I'll have to think of some good ones, and in the fall we'll have more campfires like this. Maybe tell a story as part of the Distracted Gardener series. That'll fit in somehow. I'll make it work. Probably one of the spookiest things I can think of at this point is my father passed away. We had a graveside service out at the Veterans Cemetery in Little Rock, and members of the family were riding in the limo that was following the hearse, and the day was just really dreary and cold. I believe it happened in April, and it was just one of those strangely cold days, you know, where in the spring it'll start warming up and then you'll just have this cold snap. Anyway, we're pulling into the Veterans Cemetery, and right as the limo is crossing the gate in the driveway, the car just suddenly stalls and dies. And it was really kind of spooky, but also I seem to remember my sister saying it was like almost comforting to her in a way. But you know, the car was like not an old car. Like, it wasn't the type of car you think would just suddenly stall out somewhere. And I don't think it was like a sorry to interrupt the story, but Speckles dashed for the cardinal. You'll be happy to know the cardinal got away. Yeah, so back to the story. It was just eerie feeling and strange. So I was wondering, like, is that a common occurrence when cars drive into cemeteries? Do their engines stall out? You know, like, growing up, I was really superstitious. One side of my family is pretty superstitious side. My dad was pretty superstitious, like, to the point that if we're driving down the street and a black cat crossed, he would stop and turn around and go the other way. Or I remember one time as a kid, I walked under a ladder and he made me back out under the other direction. And anyway, I don't know. I do believe, obviously, because of my religious beliefs, that there is a spirit world and a world we can't see. But you know, the extent of that spirit world and some of the stories we've heard over the years, who knows? Anyway, I've got some other good stories. I need to write them down and put them in a good storytelling form. And that might be our, you know, end of harvest, garden's done, we're we'll be prepping it for the next season to make it better, learning from our mistakes. We'll be sitting around the fire and maybe telling some of those creepy stories. So, thanks for spending some of your night with me. Talk to you next time.